Have you ever found yourself, maybe, I don't know, in the middle of something completely ordinary, like just standing in line at the grocery store? Or maybe you're in a totally routine meeting and suddenly this feeling just washes over you,
Hmm.
like a wave of anxiety, and it seems to come out of absolutely nowhere. Your heart starts racing, maybe your palms get sweaty, and you're just thinking, why? Why is this happening right now?
Yeah, that feeling you're describing, that kind of disconnect between what's actually happening around you and how intense your body's reaction is.
Yeah.
That's a really key thing.
Okay.
It often suggests that these aren't just, random blips. They might be echoes, maybe messages from parts of yourself, from experiences that haven't quite been fully integrated.
That really makes me think of the story about Anna you mentioned. I mean, here's someone who, looking from the outside seems successful, good career, friends, life seems stable.
Right. On paper, everything looks fine.
Exactly. But the second she steps into an elevator, boom, this really intense anxiety just takes over.
Mhm.
And intellectually, she gets it. She knows elevators are safe. She could probably even explain the safety mechanisms.
Right. She understands it logically.
But her body is telling a completely different story.
And Anna's experience, it just illustrates this central idea so well, doesn't it? This idea of the body's inherent wisdom.
Okay.
Often, these reactions that seem so irrational, they might not be errors in our system at all.
So what are they then?
Well, they could be seen as signals,
Yeah.
and instead of immediately trying to shut them down or explain them away, the invitation here is, well, it's to meet them with presence.
Presence.
Yeah, with a kind of curiosity. Like, okay, what might this sensation actually be trying to communicate?
Okay, let's unpack that a little. This idea of accepting what is. When we're talking about something as uncomfortable as anxiety, that can feel really counterintuitive, can't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It really can. And that's where this really important principle comes in the paradox of change.
The paradox of change.
Yeah. True transformation, real change, it doesn't start by battling against what's happening inside you right now.
Okay.
It actually begins with fully acknowledging, fully accepting your present reality, including all the discomfort. Think of it like trying to hold your breath underwater.
Right.
The more you fight that urge to breathe, the more intense that feeling gets,
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense, actually. I know for me, and I imagine for a lot of people listening, when those feelings bubble up, the immediate instinct is just make it stop.
Push it away.
Yeah. Push it away, distract myself. I might tell myself, no, it's just stress, or I'm just tired, hoping that label will somehow make it vanish.
And that's such a common human response. We really do have a limited tolerance for discomfort a lot of the time. We're kind of conditioned to look for quick fixes, quick explanations.
Right.
But what if, just for a moment,
Yeah.
you could resist that urge to run or to immediately fix it or understand it? What if you could just allow yourself to fully feel that racing heart or that tightness in your chest without immediately slapping a label on it or trying to make it disappear?
This is where it gets really interesting for me, because it feels like what you're suggesting is that our bodies are holding on to something that maybe our conscious minds don't even remember anymore.
Precisely. And this lines up so strongly with what we're learning from neuroscience, too.
How so?
Well, trauma, for instance, it isn't primarily stored in the part of our brain that handles conscious memory recall, like remembering what you had for breakfast.
Okay.
Instead, it can get held deep within the nervous system, in our muscles. Even some research suggests at a cellular level.
Wow.
So when Anna steps into that elevator, her body might be reacting to some past experience.
Yeah.
Something her conscious mind hasn't fully processed or even pieced together.
That's fascinating. It really makes you think about those times when, you or someone might react really strongly in situations that seem perfectly safe now. Like, I know someone who just tenses up incredibly around any kind of authority figure, even if the person is being perfectly reasonable, just maybe a bit assertive.
Exactly. Those kinds of triggers, whether it's a certain tone of voice, maybe a particular smell, or just a specific dynamic in an interaction, they can often be fragments. Little echoes from the past, yeah. Unprocessed bits of experience that are just resonating in your present moment.
So, when we talk about being in the here and now in Gestalt, it's not about pretending the past didn't happen.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. The here and now in this context is really about recognizing how the past is actually alive right now.
Yeah.
How it shows up in your current experience.
Okay.
Anna's panic in the elevator. It's probably not just some random glitch. It's likely a reenactment, a playing out of an older pattern.
Right.
Maybe at some point in her past, being in a confined space genuinely felt unsafe. Or perhaps she went through something overwhelming that her young mind just couldn't fully make sense of or integrate back then.
And it must take so much energy to constantly try and keep all of that down, right? All the thinking, the distractions, the ways we try to numb out.
Oh, absolutely. We develop these really elaborate defense mechanisms, don't we? These stories we tell ourselves to make sense of our feelings, or more often to avoid feeling them altogether.
Yeah.
But like you said, our bodies often hold a deeper truth. They don't really lie, you know? They carry the imprint of your whole life experience,
Yeah.
including the parts you might have consciously forgotten or tried really hard to bury.
It's almost like, and I've heard this kind of perspective, the more someone insists, oh, but I had a really good childhood, everything was fine, the more you might wonder if there's actually something significant tucked away there.
That very resistance can be a really valuable clue in itself.
Really?
Yeah. Often the stronger the denial, the more significant the underlying material might be.
Yeah.
It's just a natural human thing, isn't it? To protect ourselves from things that feel painful or difficult to face.
So these patterns we're talking about, these reactions that don't seem to fit the present, they weren't necessarily mistakes or flaws in us.
Not at all from this perspective.
Right.
Through a Gestalt lens, we'd see these as creative adjustments.
Creative adjustments.
Yeah, like ingenious strategies your younger self came up with to navigate difficult or maybe overwhelming situations. Think about a child who learned to kind of emotionally check out during chaos at home.
Okay.
That was a brilliant survival mechanism at the time. It helped them cope.
But then those same strategies that were so helpful, so necessary as kids, they can really become obstacles later on, can't they? Hold us back as adults.
Exactly right. What was once adaptive can become really limiting. Someone who learned early on to avoid conflict at all costs might really struggle to set healthy boundaries in their adult relationships.
Right.
Or someone who learned to numb their feelings to get through tough times might find it hard to really connect with joy or intimacy later in life. These aren't character flaws. They're just old protective mechanisms still running the show, even when the original threat is long gone.
So, okay, knowing all this, but what do we actually do with this understanding? I mean, we can't just go back and change the past.
No, you can't. And the invitation here isn't usually about forcing yourself to dredge up and relive painful memories. It's often much gentler than that.
Okay, so what is it then?
It's really about starting to notice. Noticing your patterns right here in the present moment. When do you feel most alive? When do you feel kind of shut down or restricted? Where do you notice tension in your body? Like right now, even as you're listening. The answers, the path forward, often lies less in endlessly analyzing the why from the past and more in tuning into your direct felt experience right now.
You touched on this idea earlier that healing isn't so much about digging up lost memories, but more about creating new experiences. Could you say a bit more about that?
Yeah. From this Gestalt perspective, healing is less about archaeological excavation of the past.
Okay.
And more about building enough safety and support in the present so that those parts of you that got kind of frozen or stuck feel secure enough to start to, well, to thaw out.
Thaw out. I like that.
Think about Anna in the elevator again. She doesn't necessarily need to pinpoint one specific traumatic event from childhood. What she needs, perhaps, is to learn how to be with her fear in that moment, to accompany herself through it, rather than fighting it or running from it.
It's almost like we build these stories about ourselves, these narratives, and sometimes they completely ignore what our bodies are trying to tell us.
Oh, definitely.
Like, you know, the super driven professional who's constantly exhausted but just keeps pushing harder and harder.
Precisely. We can become really skilled at overriding our body's signals, can't we? Creating this split between our conscious goals and our actual embodied experience.
Yeah.
That ambitious professional might ignore chronic fatigue signs. Or the dedicated caregiver might consistently neglect their own fundamental needs. These splits create this subtle but really persistent disconnection from our own truth.
But you also mentioned something about a gift hidden within these patterns. That's another idea that sounds a bit surprising at first.
It is surprising, isn't it? And it offers a really different, maybe more hopeful perspective.
How so?
Well, the very fact that Anna's body still reacts so powerfully in the elevator, it actually indicates that a part of her is still very much alive, still seeking something, seeking resolution. Her anxiety isn't just a random malfunction to be fixed, it's a signal. maybe even a cry for integration, for wholeness. It's pointing towards the potential for bringing all aspects of herself into awareness, into the light.
So when you notice these strong reactions or these recurring loops in your own life, instead of getting frustrated or self-critical, maybe a more helpful approach is to ask, okay, what part of me is trying to be seen or heard right now?
Exactly that. The invitation is really to pause and reflect, but without the judgment. Where do you feel that sense of being split off? Where do you notice these repeating themes in your own experience? It's not about blame or shame. It's really just about clear seeing, recognizing the inherent wisdom that might be hidden within what you've previously just labeled as problematic.
So this whole deep dive, it's not about finding all the definitive answers today, is it? It sounds much more like the start of something.
Absolutely. It's really a journey that begins not with finding all the answers, but maybe with asking better questions.
Okay.
Not with trying to immediately fix yourself, but with learning how to more fully feel your experience right here, right now. It's about cultivating enough presence in this moment to allow whatever needs to surface to actually emerge.
Right.
So maybe as you go through the rest of your day after listening to this, just pay attention. Notice what resonates, what maybe creates a little resistance in you, what feels familiar. These signals are all part of your own unique map, guiding you towards greater wholeness, greater integration.
It seems like it would take, well, a fair bit of courage to even start exploring these kinds of deep patterns within yourself.
It really does. And just acknowledging that courage is a really important first step, isn't it? This whole journey. It's not really about arriving at some final fixed destination.
Right.
It's much more about fostering this ongoing awareness, kind of like Anna starting to relate to her elevator anxiety differently, maybe with a bit more acceptance, a bit more understanding.
So it's less about trying to conquer the anxiety or get rid of it entirely and more about
Softening the relationship with it.
Exactly. Shifting your relationship to it. Moving from that place of actively fighting against those responses
Yeah.
to maybe more of a stance of embracing them with curiosity.
Yeah.
Starting to see that anxiety not just as an enemy, but maybe as a messenger trying to tell you something important.
And the healing part then comes from creating enough safety inside yourself to actually listen to that message, to hear what it's saying. Precisely. Healing in this kind of Gestalt framework really emerges from cultivating that sense of safety within yourself, creating a kind of internal container where you can stay present with your experience, even the really difficult, uncomfortable bits.
Okay.
It's about gradually, gently building your capacity to hold those feelings without getting totally swept away by them.
It sounds like vulnerability then. It's not weakness in this context. It's actually maybe a source of strength.
Oh, absolutely. As you start to turn towards your discomfort, allowing yourself to be vulnerable with your own experience, you actually expand what's sometimes called your window of tolerance.
Window of tolerance.
Yeah, you start to realize, oh, I can actually navigate this. I can hold more than I thought I could.
You also mentioned something called creative responsibility. How does that fit in?
Creative responsibility.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing your power, your agency in the present moment.
Okay.
It's about reclaiming your ability to respond rather than just react based on old programming. It doesn't magically erase the past or its impact,
Right.
but it empowers you to consciously choose how you relate to those past experiences now. You're not just automatically dictated by those old ingrained patterns.
Can you give an example? Like, what might that look like day to day?
Sure. So maybe someone who has a pattern of withdrawing in intimate relationships, they might start by simply noticing that urge to pull away when it arises, just noticing it without immediately acting on it. That little pause creates a space for a different choice, maybe.
Okay.
Or someone who tends to feel small or reactive around authority figures, they might practice grounding themselves, feeling their feet on the floor, noticing their breath during those interactions, just observing their internal reaction without judgment. That's taking creative responsibility.
It sounds like a really gentle, gradual process. Integration.
It's very much so. Think of it like frozen ground thawing after winter.
Yeah.
It happens layer by layer, slowly,
Yeah.
through consistent, compassionate awareness of yourself. There's really no need to rush it or force anything.
And I'm guessing it's probably not a straight line forward either. There are probably ups and downs, moments of progress, and then maybe falling back into old patterns.
Exactly. Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. There will be moments you feel like, wow, breakthrough, and other moments where familiar, maybe less helpful, patterns reappear quite strongly.
Right.
And both are totally valid. They're important parts of the journey. The key is approaching that nonlinear path with self-compassion, not judgment.
So even those really small moments, like when you consciously choose to just stay present with a difficult feeling for a few seconds instead of immediately distracting yourself, those actually matter.
They are incredibly significant, hugely significant. Each time you make that small conscious choice to stay present instead of avoid, you're essentially creating new neural pathways. You're building new possibilities for how you relate to yourself and how you relate to the world.
It really reframes the whole idea of trauma, doesn't it? It stops being this separate thing that we have to somehow cut out or destroy.
Precisely. Trauma, seen through this lens, becomes part of your lived experience, yes, but it's something seeking integration, not elimination. The focus shifts
From getting rid of symptoms.
to creating a welcoming space for all parts of yourself to come home, to be acknowledged.
That really makes you think, what does wholeness actually mean then, on a deeper level?
It really invites that contemplation, doesn't it? Is wholeness about never feeling pain or discomfort again? Or is it maybe more about developing the capacity to hold all of your experiences, the joy, the sorrow, the fear, the love, with compassion, with awareness?
Kind of like going back to Anna, maybe it's not about never feeling fear in the elevator again, but about being able to be in the elevator with the fear without it completely taking over and shutting her down.
Exactly like that. Transformation often shows up in those subtle but really powerful shifts. A breath held a little less tightly, a moment of presence you didn't have before, even amidst the anxiety. Small things that make a big difference internally.
And this feels like it ripples outwards too, doesn't it? It's not just about individual healing in isolation. As we get more attuned to our own stuff, surely that impacts how we connect with other people.
Oh, absolutely. As you cultivate more awareness of your own inner world, the struggles, the patterns, the moments of grace, you naturally develop more empathy, more understanding for the shared human experience of navigating all this complexity.
It's also just a good reminder of how incredibly complex we are as humans, and that growth, it's really a lifelong journey, isn't it? Not something you just complete.
Absolutely. Your psyche, your inner world, it's vast.
Yeah.
It's constantly unfolding. There will always be new layers to discover, new aspects of yourself coming forward to be understood and integrated. Embracing that ongoing journey with curiosity and kindness towards yourself. That's really key.
So as we start to wrap up this deep dive for today, what's maybe the most important thing you'd want someone listening to take away from all this?
Perhaps just to take a moment to reflect on what feels most alive for you right now. What questions are stirring inside you after hearing this? And to trust those inner signals. They're your unique compass, really. Healing isn't usually about finding a quick fix from outside. It's much more about cultivating that present moment awareness right here and trusting in your own system's innate intelligence, its capacity to integrate and move towards wholeness.
It sounds like life itself, really, these ongoing cycles, reaching out, connecting, maybe withdrawing for a bit, finding some completion, and then starting something new again.
That's beautifully put, yeah. And as you carry these ideas, these feelings with you, just know you're not alone in this. This journey of self-discovery, of healing, it's a fundamentally human one. The kinds of awareness practices we've touched on, they're available to everyone. Trust your own unique path, how it unfolds for you.
It really underscores that idea that our bodies hold so much wisdom, doesn't it? And just paying attention, really listening to those often subtle signals can guide us towards feeling more whole, more alive.
Indeed. Your past experiences, your wounds, they shape you, yes, but they don't have to define your future. This ongoing exploration of your inner landscape, including the unconscious bits, it's really a journey of becoming more fully authentically yourself.
So the fundamental invitation here is to trust. Trust that within ourselves we hold both the crucial questions and also the inherent potential for healing, for growth.
Precisely. You are both the seeker and the sought. You have these internal resources just waiting to be accessed. So trust your body's wisdom. Trust your capacity for presence, even if it feels small at first. Trust your natural curiosity about your own experience. Trust those quiet, often invisible movements of transformation within you. And try to honor all parts of yourself, recognizing they all contribute to the beautiful, complex, and ongoing unfolding of who you are.